Okay. Good morning. Thank you all for joining us for the June Lunch and Learn. I'm Carol Battle, and I manage the statewide wellness program through the Office of State Human Resources. I'm really excited about our session today, and I think you will be too, because it's so timely. We're going to learn some healthy travel tips for summer, and then Katie is going to demonstrate healthy twists on typical summer recipes. As a reminder, everyone who's registered for this event will receive a recording of today's presentation, along with the recipes and a link to our webpage, where we house all the past demos as well as invitations to upcoming webinars, so be sure to check it out. Now, let's welcome Katie Godin. She's from Lifestyle Medical Center. Katie's been a registered dietitian for 15 years. She focuses on helping individuals meet their health goals and improve their knowledge and relationship with food. We all need that. Lifestyle Medical Center is an in-network nutritional counseling service. For those of you enrolled in the state health plan, virtual and in-person visits are covered at 100% for in-network providers. We have dietitians all across the state, so it's easy to find a dietitian near you by logging into the state health plan portal. Please note the website to log into is listed on this cover slide. During the presentation, please use the chat box if you have any questions, and our team members, Kara Rouse, Kimberly Winters, Linda Folsberg, along with Katie, will be answering those. We've saved a few minutes at the end of the event to conquer any questions that we aren't able to get to during the presentation. So without further ado, let's welcome Katie.
Thank you, Carol. Hey, everybody. I can't believe we're already here in June. Happy summer. It's definitely feeling like it out there, that's for sure. Today, I am going to talk to you guys about some travel tips because I know this is typically the time of year, of course, that we do a little bit more traveling. And I know that just from the past and counseling people, one of the things that people commonly ask me is, how do I keep myself on track with my health and wellness goals while I'm, out of my structured routine? And so that's what we're really going to focus on today, is how to kind of keep within those boundaries. Okay. As I've mentioned before, and as Carol mentioned in her introduction, I am working with Lifestyle Medical Center. I have been a dietitian for over 15 years at this point. When it comes to lifestyle counseling, nutrition counseling, you're working with a wonderful staff, you're working with registered dietitians, but you're also working with other medical providers. We have physician's assistants, and we have an endocrinologist. We've got a wonderful team of people that kind of help look at the whole picture. Some services that we cover and offer are listed here. When you think of nutrition counseling, I know a lot of times you think of, okay, I need to come in to see a dietitian to lose weight. It's so much more than that. And so just kind of that overall lifestyle change that maybe you've been looking for is we're here to meet your needs, tailor it to you. And so just wanted to take a quick little minute to kind of discuss that. Okay. All right. So let's get right into it. This is one of my big tips that I like to encourage people to do when they are even planning for travel, really. I mean, one of the things that I know I like to do is I like to have some food on hand. And so kind of scouting out that local grocery store before you head on your trip. You know where you're going, you know the general area that you're going to. Where are there some convenient and local markets, grocery stores, places where you can have things that are simple. I mean, you do not have to feel, while you're on vacation, you have to literally cook and prepare every single meal, because that's part of being on vacation, is taking that break and having that little bit of fun. But I think when we kind of plan for easy things to have with us, it really makes us feel better just overall. We feel a little bit more grounded, especially we feel it when we come home and we realize, wow, we saved a little money, and we kind of ate a little bit healthier than we have in the past because we really planned for it. And so one of those first tips, those first things that I recommend doing is going shopping. Something else that's really cool these days, depending on your budget and your convenience factor and what you need to kind of make things work for you, is especially I know with Whole Foods, and there are some other delivery options where you can actually plan for your groceries to be on your front step when you pull up to where you're staying. So they're, depending on where you're going and what you're doing. I went on a ladies trip last year. We went to Austin, Texas. It was fantastic. But one of the things we wanted to do is we wanted to cook a couple of things while we were there, and we walked up, there's our groceries on our front step. We didn't even have to go anywhere. So that's not always an option, but that's just one of those kind of out of the box things maybe you've not thought about. So wanted to throw that out there. Okay. This is a big one for me. Stick to a food schedule. So one of those things that we commonly do not do is stick to a food schedule when we're on vacation, because we're on vacation, right? And we don't feel like, we kind of don't want that structure. We want to be free and just kind of wake up when we want to. And of course you can still do that. But if you can try to eat first thing when you wake up, think about timing versus every 3 to 4 hours, for example, eating, versus you have to eat at 7:30 in the morning every day. I would recommend when you wake up, eating within those first 30 minutes to an hour at most, having something simple for breakfast, which we'll get into some ideas here in a second. So starting your day off with something to eat. Do not start your day off by skipping. It just sets the pace for inconsistency with eating throughout the rest of the day. And one of my general tips that I like to recommend is eating every 3 to 4 hours. There's a lot of reasons for this, but one of the biggest reasons is it helps keep your blood sugars regulated. And so blood sugar regulation is extremely important when you're trying to manage hunger. And the last thing that we need to do while we're on vacation is battle hunger, which leads us to, we're out and about, we're, able to really eat whatever we want when we're on vacation. And when we're dealing with empty stomach, it really just lowers our inhibitions, and we really just want to eat whatever we see. So keeping something with you, easy snacks, I'll go over that also in just a minute. But yeah, we just make better decisions when we have regularly eaten throughout the day. All right. Okay. Tip number 3, always start the day off with a healthy, balanced breakfast. So I kind of touched upon this already, but it is definitely not just the most important meal when you're on vacation. It's the most important meal, in my opinion, hands down, just because of what I just mentioned. Starting off your day with something in your belly, something healthy, something balanced, is paving the way for the rest of the day. When we skip meals, what it does is it builds our hunger. We might overeat, and then we're really full. And then we go a long period of time without eating. And then what happens? We get really hungry again. And then we eat too much, most likely, and we get really full again. And so our body thrives when we eat smaller portions really throughout the day. 3 meals, 1 to 2 snacks. We have consistent energy. And depending on the type of vacation you're going on, because there's all different types, of course, we can lay on the beach and not do anything, but some people like to be active and maybe go hiking or do excursions or whatever it may be, Disney, where you really need your energy. So anyway, having that day start off with a healthy, balanced breakfast. It doesn't have to mean that you're cooking eggs, bacon, like all the things. It could be something as simple as an apple with a tablespoon of peanut butter. It could be, I threw out an example of a protein bar on here. There's bukus of types. We can talk about that if you have questions on that. But kind protein is just something that I naturally thought of. I like the ingredients. There's a decent amount of fat from the nuts, protein from the nuts as well. And then a balanced amount of carbohydrates and a good chunk of calories that's going to help actually keep you full. So I like the kind protein bars a lot for those reasons. And then you can see there just a small example of, I think there's apples, nuts, cheese, a little bento box that you can create very simply at your vacation spot. If you have cheese cubes, a bag of almonds, some pre-boiled eggs, whether you buy them already boiled or pack a cooler if you're driving, bring them with you. So it can be done. I think you have to put a little bit of thought into it, but these types of things are very simple and doable. Okay. All right. So tip number 4, very big one, pack snacks. When you go to the beach, pack a cooler. When you are, going out for the day, wherever you're at, if you're going sightseeing or shopping or whatever, wherever your vacation takes you, there are things that you can put in your purse. There are things that you can put just in your pocket, like a little small 100-calorie pack of almonds. Even just that little bit of something in your belly can help tide you over just enough to where you can make it to that next meal with a more clear-headed ability to make a better decision when it comes time to eat. So some examples of some snacks that you can pack pretty simply. I put frozen grapes on there. I don't know if you guys have ever done that before, but frozen grapes, frozen fruit, things like that, especially grapes, are really good. For children, really like them. They're kind of got a little sweetness to them, but they're great when it's really hot out. So, packing those in your cooler to go to the beach, maybe some nuts, other fresh fruit. These are things to kind of think about when you're going to the grocery store. What are some quick and simple snacks? I love the little hummus containers. These are specifically from Costco, but you can get these anywhere. Pre-chopping up some vegetables to take with you, or even going to the grocery store and getting that little baby carrot bags that are already chopped up, some apple slices that are already chopped up. Think about your budget and think about convenience. Think about what works best for you. But definitely remember that we need to have snacks with us if we're trying to eat every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day. All right. Okay. So tip number 5, cook when you can. Okay. Again, I'm very realistic when I'm talking to people about these ideas. I get it. I am the same as anyone else. I love certain things when I go to the beach. I love a favorite ice cream spot. We've got our favorite go-to restaurants that we like to eat at. But at the same time, I know that if I eat out every meal, I'm going to probably be broke when we get home. And then also, I'm not going to feel my best. And that's what I have people tap into a lot when they're trying to make these swaps and changes to some of their lifestyle habits is, weight aside. I get that, again, we're always focused in on, well, we need to eat less calories so that we don't gain weight on vacation. Forget that. Think about how it makes you feel. How do you feel when you indulge too much on vacation? Do you feel, extra tired? Maybe you don't have as much energy to do the things you want to do. Maybe you come back and you feel, just a little bit disconnected from kind of your normal routine because you've really let it all go. What I like to achieve with people is just finding that really good balance, right? So, maybe you try to just set limits. First of all, look for some accommodations where you have the ability to prepare. And it doesn't have to be a full kitchen. It could just be something that has a refrigerator. Maybe you're bringing a big cooler because it maybe doesn't have those accommodations. So just having a cooler that you can kind of put things in as you travel around. You can get creative with it, and your dietitian that you're working with, if you decide to do that, can help you come up with other ideas as well. But something else that I think is valuable is setting those limits, planning ahead. Think about the places you want to go. Think about, where you're going to eat and maybe even what you're going to get before you get there. That's just a tip that I like to encourage for anybody, no matter if you're traveling or not, when it comes to eating out. I feel like breakfast and lunches are pretty simple. You can make those easy, and maybe you decide 1 to 2 meals that week will be cooked in the home. Maybe you go with another family and you trade off. You take a night, they take a night, and then you eat out the rest of the time. But I feel like if, again, even with eating out, you're kind of thinking about some of these tips I've been mentioning, eating every 3 to 4 hours, starting your day with a healthy breakfast. When it gets time to go out to these restaurants, you're going to make better decisions, right? So it all kind of is connected and goes together when you're thinking about these things. Okay. So tip number 6, so kind of trickling into the dining out piece, which I kind of discussed there just a second ago. But yeah, I love the pick 2 method, which I put at the very bottom. Now look, there's so much room for flexibility here, but it's just a general idea. So I've often told people there are 4 main parts to a meal. There's an appetizer, there's an entree, there's a dessert, and then there's an alcoholic beverage. If we get all 4 things, we're most likely going to overdo it. So maybe we prioritize. Okay, I really just want the entree of my choice, but I think I'll forego having some of that appetizer because I know that that entree I'm probably going to want to finish because I don't ever get to eat it. And it's one of my favorite things when I go, if you're going out to get seafood, if you're at the beach or if you're traveling on in a different area, it's just, yeah, you might want to kind of feel like you have that ability to eat what you want. But at the same time, you're still kind of having those general rules in place where you might have that entree and maybe you decide to do a glass of wine with that. Now, does that mean if you share a dessert that you've broken the rule? No, I hate using rules. I don't like that word. These are just sort of ideas to help keep you grounded and to kind of have some kind of boundary so that you're able to listen to your body a little bit more. And that's really what it boils down to, is just our ability to sit down at a meal and not feel like we have to just eat it all up because we're never going to be able to eat it again. I think just having some of these things in mind could be helpful, but definitely don't go starving. That's right above that. Pick 2. It's important, which again, eating every few hours, packing healthy snacks throughout the day. When you get to dinner, you shouldn't be starving. Okay. All right, guys, keep moving, and it does not have to be hitting the gym. Now, if you enjoy the gym and you have access to one, maybe you plan for 1 to 2 times to make a quick pop in while maybe people are having some downtime and you feel that, you know what, going and walking on that treadmill, maybe you're somewhere where it's really hot outside and you don't feel like walking outside. Maybe that gym has a treadmill and walking on that treadmill for 30 minutes while you listen to a podcast, or maybe you're watching a show if they have sometimes or you take your iPad or your phone, and you just know that that 30 minutes is really going to make you feel good. Maybe you plan for that gym, but maybe you just add in short walks when you're able. Of course, like this happy couple on the beach, it just looks so nice walking on the beach. That's one of my favorite things to do. I love doing it, specifically first thing in the morning, and I love taking my dog. So that's just something that, it feels good to me. I guess I'm, of course, getting exercise, but it's not even about that. It's just an activity that I love to do. So think about things that you enjoy doing, and maybe you try to fit those in. Maybe it's, planning part of your trip to have activity in it. If you've, been trying to work on boosting your activity level this first part of the year, and you're about to go on vacation and you really don't want to let that slide, make sure you plan it in. So I think it's just thinking about some simple things that you can accomplish. Maybe you rent bikes, maybe you just go for a short hike if you're in the mountains or something like that, but keep moving. Think about ways you can keep that activity level while on vacation. Okay. Bottom line, guys, enjoy yourself. It's all a balance. I feel like I've been trying to communicate that throughout, but you can certainly splurge and listen to those desires when you're on vacation. I mean, it really is all about balancing. I think the more planning that you put into things, the better you're going to feel about those decisions, which I've also tried to communicate. But the tips that previously we've discussed is going to help you achieve that healthy balance. And it's going to make you feel like you can enjoy those favorite classics at the same time. So you really feel good about going out and getting that ice cream. That's just something to do because you enjoy doing that with the family. You should have no guilt behind that ever. But again, you will feel better if you've maybe gotten in a little activity on that vacation so far, or you kind of kept yourself grounded with healthy snacks throughout the day. Those things kind of work itself out to where you can have it all and feel good about it. Okay. So this is such an important one, and I'm not really doing these in order of importance, guys. I kind of just tried to make it flow in some way, but staying hydrated is extremely important when you're on vacation and during the summertime. There are, I get constant questions about, I get tired of water. What else can I drink? I tried to throw a couple ideas. I'm going to make a kind of fun spritzer today just to show you and give you some other examples here in a second of fun things you can do with water. But seltzers, fresh fruit, obviously squeezed or infused in water, even flavored unsweetened iced teas that, are cold. I went on a vacation a long time ago, and someone had a flavored tea. I think it was some type of blueberry berry flavors. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was so good. And she just, put ice in it, made it cold. It wasn't sweet. It just had this subtle flavor to it, and it was really good. You can squeeze some lime, some fresh fruit in there, and it really jazzes it up. Bubbles are always kind of fun. If you like seltzers, those are always fun to kind of try as well. But the Noon Sport tabs are really great just to have a little bit of extra electrolytes if you're going to be out, maybe hiking, or if you're, staying active and you're outdoors for a while and, you might be sweating more than you normally do. These are great to just keep in your purse, and you can pop them in a water bottle, and they have a flavor to them. They're low in sugar, which is great. And so you can get these pretty much most places, grocery stores, Amazon, that type of thing, as well as the True Lemon. I always recommend people, because lemonade is a really fun beverage this time of year, but this doesn't have a lot of extra sugars. It's just a little packet, kind of like Crystal Light. You keep those in your purse or in your pocket or wherever, and you can kind of add those to water bottles as well, just to jazz up that flavor. Okay, so I know that we love our alcoholic beverages at times. Maybe not everyone, but some of us do when we're especially on vacation. And it's of course okay to splurge and get them here and there. But when we're all of a sudden finding that we're drinking a lot of our calories, not even just alcoholic drinks, but if we're, prone to grab that soda or get that, sweet tea or whatever it is when we're vacationing, here and there, not a problem. But it's kind of fun to try some of these other things as well. That's why, getting some type of fruit and some of these things from the store to have with you so that you can kind of pop them in your water bottle. I was talking with Carol prior to the presentation, and we were talking about, she has a water bottle which has a little insert in the middle that you can shove all of these different little combos in, fill it up with water, and then it's a little single serve infused water drink throughout the day. So anyway, I loved some of the things on here. I love cucumber and mint. That's one of my favorite combinations. And this adds a little honeydew, which I thought was really fun. So it's amazing how much fresh, nice flavor you can add to your water just by putting in some little hints of some type of herb, and of course fruit and mint. Again, rosemary is really good too. That blueberry, lemon, rosemary combination sounds so good. Oh, and basil, definitely basil. That's the other one down at the bottom. Strawberry, lemon, basil, delicious. So, but yes, have your fun drinks, but remember that you can try other things too. You might like them just as much. Okay. So this was my last tip number 11 here. I'm not the biggest tracking person. I'm on the fence about it. Sometimes people find that it helps them. Sometimes it makes individuals feel very neurotic over food, and I do not like that. I do never want anyone to feel that way. And so I think you just have to kind of assess is this something that makes me feel good? When I have a general idea of what I'm eating, when I'm eating, maybe it's just that pen and paper, which is more my style, writing down kind of a general idea of what the day might look like. If you go off course, that doesn't mean you failed. It isn't about that. It's just about having some type of general idea, some type of general plan. So again, you know, chatting with, if you're working with a dietitian, chatting with them about what your best options would be when it comes to tracking. There's other means of doing so. There's other apps out there. I just threw my Fitness Pal. That's what that icon is there, because it's one of the most popular and one of the most easiest, I think, to navigate. But yeah, I mean, you're not going to know everything. You're not going to know the exact calories that are in your dinner out, right? I think it's just about, you know, does this help make me more accountable if I write out what breakfast I'm going to eat the next day, what snacks I'm going to pack with me, and maybe what I'm going to have for lunch. Maybe dinner is just taking a quick look at that menu and writing it down what you're going to eat. You don't have to know the calories and the protein and carbs and everything. I think it's just about kind of making yourself accountable for that general structure. Okay. All right, guys, so the time has come. We're going to do some cooking. What we're going to do is, it's actually not really a lot of cooking as much as the broccoli bacon salad is absolutely no cook. The creamy red potato salad is some part cooked, just the potatoes. And then I'm going to show you guys how to make a very quick strawberry mimosa mocktail. And yeah, we can go from there. All right, so let's see. I am going to... Which one? Let me pull up my recipe really fast here. I think one I'm going to do first is the potato salad, okay, which is so good. I made it just the other night, and it has such a nice summer feel to it. Very fresh, a lot of dill. Okay, hold on one second. Okay. So guys, what I've done, because I needed the potatoes to cool completely, I did have to pre-boil my potatoes. So we won't be doing that step on live today. So I will show you here. I have about 1.5 pounds or a big bag of small red potatoes, just these little guys right here. All I did was, you see that? It's just kind of cut them up into eighths. All right, so just cut them up into eighths, put them in a pan, or excuse me, put them in a pot of water, brought it to boiling, and then you boil them for about 10 minutes. So that's kind of an easy step. That's really all there is to it, right? Otherwise, it's just measuring out ingredients, okay? So you do have to let them completely cool so that just when you're mixing, they don't kind of get all mushy like mashed potatoes. So yeah, so we've got our about 1.5 pounds or a bag, like a big bag of your small red potatoes, chopped up and boiled. Okay. Let's see, we've got, I need my little apple cider vinegar. Okay, I'm going to get out my measuring here. We need a tablespoon. I'm going to pour a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar onto the potatoes. Okay. So really at this point, you guys, it's just about dumping everything into this bowl. All right, then I have got about 1/4 cup of plain yogurt, okay, which is great because you can use this as a substitute for sour cream. If you prefer it, there's nothing wrong with using sour cream. You can certainly use a low-fat sour cream as well. But I did what the recipe called for, which was the non-fat plain yogurt, which I think my brand that I got was Faye, but there's so many different brands out there. Any of them are fine. The other thing to note with some of the measurements that I'm giving you guys today, I halved this recipe. So when you get this recipe, it called for 3 pounds of red potatoes. That was a lot of potatoes. So depending on the size, the group that you guys are cooking for, maybe that is what you need if it's a big cookout or something like that. But for just a family of 4, the 1 and a half, like just halving the serving size is what I've done to make that easy, okay? So I'm just going to dump my Greek yogurt in here. I have a 1/4 cup of a low-fat mayonnaise. All right, so we are using a little bit of mayo. I have got 2 tablespoons in here of Dijon mustard. All right, so we're just going to dump that in. And then we've got the best part, all the crunchy stuff. So I'm a big crunchy texture person. If you're not, you can omit things, you can add things. If there's something about potato salad that you just love in there, add it. I don't think that's a big deal at all. But we have got 1/2 cup of some chopped diced celery, okay? So I'm gonna dump that in. Many of you probably know how to dice up celery, but why not do it? This is how I just like to cut it in. Can you guys see that okay? Okay. And then just kind of cut it up. Now, some people really like chopping and some people just despise it. I don't know what it is, but I find it very relaxing. So I'm going to add in a little extra just because I love the celery in there. But yeah, some people do not like it. So you can get things that are kind of already chopped up if you want, but a lot of times you do save money when you kind of do a little bit of the work yourself. And I feel like this is a pretty simple recipe. The other thing I have here is about 1/2 cup of green onions. So I'm going to just toss that in there. You kind of chop those up the same way. And then I have some fresh herbs. I have, this is dill. I have, and with dill, all I did was a couple of tablespoons, is just kind of chop it up a little bit like this. Okay, you might get a little bit of the little stalks in there. That's fine. It's not that significant. But I have about a tablespoon of dill with a tablespoon of parsley in here, fresh parsley. All right, guys, and that's it. So now I'm just going to kind of mix it all up. It's so good. Does anyone have any questions about this while I'm mixing this up? And I'll show you guys what it looks like in a pretty bowl here in a second.
Katie, we have a question. Is light mayo better to use than light sour cream?
I think they're comparable. I think if you just, what kind of flavor you like, and maybe the sour cream is a little bit more rich in texture, just depending. I think it's just a preference, but no, I don't think either one is fine.
Okay, and do you recommend a particular brand of low-fat mayo or a substitute for mayo altogether?
The only substitute I would say is Greek yogurt. I think you could do that. You could just swap the whole mayo for Greek yogurt. I think that would be fine. I look at the olive oil based mayonnaises are good, or the olive oil or avocado oil based mayos, which there are so many different brands out there, I think, and they pretty much kind of like put it on there. There are some expensive mayonnaises out there too. So I just try to make it realistic for people. I think bottom line is looking for those 2 different types of oils in one of the first ingredients of your mayonnaises is really a good start. If you're just like, I want top of the line mayo, Sir Kensington's is a very good brand, but it's very expensive. So yeah, I would just say look for either avocado oil or olive oil based mayos, which they are bukus out there now. I mean, you just look now, if you've never seen them before, because I've told you about them, you'll go to the mayo aisle and you'll just be like, oh, there they are. So that's what I would recommend.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Amanda said that vegan mayo is loved by many non-vegans.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Oh, yes. Sorry. Of course. Any type of dairy-free vegan alternative is great. If you like that, that is perfectly fine.
So it still comes down to taste.
I think so.
if you add sour cream, can you delete the apple cider vinegar?
I don't know that that has, I think that's going to be a different flavor. I think the vinegar just kind of adds that little bit of a tartness to the recipe. So I think you could keep, I mean, it's just a tablespoon. So, I mean, maybe it's not even that big of a thing. Maybe it wouldn't even make that big of a difference. I'll show you guys this really quickly though. So beautiful. Another thing that I've always liked in a potato salad are little bits of egg whites. So just again, I like texture. So that always kind of is a yummy thing to add, but I love all the fresh dill in this. I love the Dijon mustard. I could even up that a little bit, which I didn't, but I really enjoy that flavor. So I think, again, you can kind of make some of this your own. The green onion and of course the celery just gives it a nice crisp crunch. And this is a fantastic thing to make for potlucks, cookouts, things like this summer. I tried to choose a couple different classics that a lot of times have a lot of fat and heavy cream and mayonnaise and things like that to it that really, just unnecessarily bulk up the calories. It's not the end of the world to go out and buy, pre-made red skin potato salad. But I think when you see how simple that is, the hardest part is really just doing some of the chopping. And but really kind of from start to finish, it takes about 15 minutes. So when you think about 10 minutes of boiling while the potatoes are boiling, you're doing your chopping, and then you just whoop, mix it up like that, and then you're ready to go. So it's very quick and very fast and delicious. Okay. Any other questions about the potato salad? Okay. Let me regroup here, and we're going to switch over to the broccoli, which is one of my favorite things. Just thinking about cookouts and just summer foods, that broccoli bacon salad is just, in my opinion, one of the best things that there is. I absolutely love it. So I was excited to make a kind of healthy version of that. Right. Let me just put this over to the side. All right. Okay, so let me pull up my recipe here and switch gears. So we've got the broccoli bacon salad. So this, we are going to let me get my bowl. All right. So this is going to call for a little bit of garlic, a quarter cup of mayonnaise. I'll show you guys the ingredients here in just a second. I'm just reading just to kind of have you get a general gist of what's in it. Again, some of the same ingredients that were in the potato salad. Now, maybe you wouldn't make both of these at the same time. Maybe you would. I mean, it's up to you, but they're different for sure. They're a little similar in the base of what's in them. But they definitely have different flavors. But both are good, of course, classics to bring to your maybe 4th of July cookout or something like that. So you've got, a little bit of low-fat mayo, a little bit of your reduced fat sour cream, which I did use the Greek yogurt because I had so much of that left over. I was like, why not? Plain Greek yogurt is a very common substitute for sour cream. So if you guys have never tried that as a substitute for sour cream, it really is good. I use it on, really anything you would use sour cream for. So any type of, taco Mexican recipe to chili, I love it on that. And then with any type of recipe like this, it's just an easy swap. A little bit more of your apple cider vinegar, just a teensy bits of sugar, a little bit of sugar, about a teaspoon. A lot of broccoli, obviously, with your broccoli salad, and some water chestnuts, and a little bit of bacon, and then some dried cranberries. Okay, so all you're really doing is mixing all those ingredients together, whisking them, and then pouring in your broccoli and kind of coating it. Okay, the broccoli is raw. You do not cook it. Okay, so first I'm going to start with I put 2 cloves of garlic. I'm a big garlic person. I've probably said that before. I love garlic, so I just added a little extra. All right, so I'm just going to kind of dump that. Hopefully y'all can see that okay. I'm going to dump that here into my bowl. I have got that 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt that I just used before. So I'm going to pour that in here. And I have another 1/4 cup of low-fat mayonnaise. I have got my 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. So I'm going to pour that in there. I have about 1 teaspoon of sugar. So if you guys are like, I don't even want to put that in there, then don't. You could add a little stevia if you wanted to do it that way. 1 teaspoon of sugar for an entire recipe isn't going to be the biggest deal. So kind of whatever you feel comfortable with there. Then I've got water chestnuts. So what I did is I got a can of sliced water chestnuts and just chopped them up a little bit, just so that they were a little bit more finely chopped, so that they would be an easier texture. Okay. And then I have 3 tablespoons of craisins. I did get some of the lower sugar options. So if you're kind of watching sugar content and things of that nature, that's what you could opt for. So we're going to throw that in there. Okay, guys, so yes, I'm using real bacon, not anything else but the real stuff, right? There's a satisfaction factor to food. And I think that if it's something that you enjoy, if you are vegan, vegetarian, using a swap is obviously your best bet to really any of these products, as they're not vegan or vegetarian. You can kind of make those swaps as you need to. But yeah, I mean, you could use turkey bacon. You could not use bacon at all, I guess, but I'm choosing to do the real deal. And so it's just 3 pieces of cooked bacon crumbled up. Okay. So you're going to whisk all of that together. Let me get my spoon out of here. All right, y'all see that okay? So I'm just going to kind of whisk that up. Just so that it's evenly mixed, and then you're just going to add your broccoli to it. All right, lost a couple pieces of bacon. I don't want to do that. All right, so I'm going to dump my broccoli in there. And then I'm just going to take a spatula here and just kind of mix it up. Just kind of evenly coat it. Smells really good. And it's pretty. All that green broccoli. Sometimes with the Greek yogurt, just like I guess sour cream would be, it's a little thick. So I'm just kind of making sure it's getting all nice and evenly coated here. Okay. All right. So there's our second side, both very, very simple. I mean, again, the hardest part of this was really just chopping up that broccoli, I guess, took the most time. And then, you know, measuring your stuff out. But it really is just a fast-paced side to put together. So yeah, so we've got our potato salad, we've got our broccoli and bacon salad. And what I wanted to do as our last thing is kind of talk about some different mocktails and things of that nature. So first of all, anyone have any questions about the broccoli recipe?
Yes, Katie, before we move on to mocktails, is Greek yogurt friendlier to those with lactose intolerance than sour cream?
Oh, compared to sour cream? So Greek yogurt is definitely known to be friendlier to those who have lactose intolerance, just because it's gone through an extra straining process. which is what makes it a little more concentrated in protein. It's been strained and kind of a lot of the lactose gets strained out. As a result, it's left with a thicker product and it's left with more protein and it's left with less lactose as a result of that. So yes, I usually tell people, those who are lactose intolerant, maybe you can't eat milk or drink milk, ice cream, things like that, really heavy milk products bother them, but Greek yogurt typically doesn't. Now, if you're very sensitive, then it's all just kind of a trial and error. If you notice that it still bothers you, then I would kind of use some of the non-dairy alternatives.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, let me bring over my drink recipe. Okay. So there's lots of different things that you can do. I mean, you can really just ad lib and make whatever you want when it comes to non-alcoholic beverages. But one thing that I always like to do is I just got some plain seltzer. So if you're not a seltzer person, then we might talk through some other types of things. I was looking up some yesterday, and the infused waters are always a good option. That's why I like to put that slide out there for you so that you can see some really fun combinations. You can always add bubbles if you like that bubbly aspect to any of those combinations that we looked at in the PowerPoint presentation. But this particular one is supposed to be mimosa, so it does use orange juice. I just got a little bit of the Simply Orange. You can fresh squeeze if you would like. If you have a juicer, you can do, a couple of oranges and juice your own, which is really fun. So let me go get something really quick. I need some ice.
As a reminder, each of you will be getting all of these recipes.
Yes. And so these particular salads, I'll show you guys again, and just, before we wrap up, but these particular salads are from Eating Well, which is one of my favorite websites. I'm going to actually put it on a plate so that you can really see it instead of it being in a bowl. But yeah, I love Eating Well. There's so many different wonderful recipes on there, and it's categorized so nicely into all different types of categories. So if you need things that are diabetes friendly, or if you are vegetarian, or it just depends, like the sky's the limit really. There's lots of different options that you can look at. And most of the recipes are really simple, and they do give the nutrient breakdown, which sometimes people appreciate. So that's also part of it that I like. So all right, guys, I'm going to just put some ice in my glass here. And it's fun to garnish. Who doesn't like to do that? I just put a little strawberry and a little lime on there. I think sometimes you just got to make it fun. I mean, you could be, maybe you're not able to drink alcohol. Maybe you purposefully avoid alcohol. Maybe you just, maybe you're pregnant or nursing. There are many reasons why people avoid it. But at the same time, when other people are having a fun cocktail mixed drink or something, maybe a cookout, you kind of want to feel like you're having a little fun too. So you can always, bring along your own supplies. Maybe they have stuff there. But what I like to do is just make some combinations of plain seltzer. So pouring in, probably like 3/4 seltzer, and then topping it off with my Simply Orange juice, which I typically prefer if you're not juicing your own. It doesn't have any added sugars. Orange juice is still sugary, okay? So if you have diabetes or have another reason why you can't have more concentrated sugars like this, then those True Lemon packets are really good. Those types of things that kind of add, they have different flavors as well, not just lemon and lime. They have, berry and other things out there. So those could be kind of the fun swap. But a lot of times if you're just doing a little splash of juice and kind of infuse it with some fresh fruit, that's what kind of adds a little bit of that natural sweetness. So I'm just going to kind of top it off with some orange juice just to kind of make it have that little pretty color in there. And then the other thing that we're going to do is take some lime wedges, and I'm just going to kind of squeeze a couple different lime wedges in there. We'll stir it up in a minute. The other thing that I wanted to do, I'm going to angle my thing down here, is cut up some fresh strawberries. All right, guys, so I'm going to cut up some fresh strawberries. You can muddle them and kind of put them in that way. We're just going to kind of drop them down in there so it just kind of makes your drink look pretty. Okay. You see that? Okay. Just maybe a couple strawberries. You don't have to put a lot, just depending on your preference. All right. And we're just going to kind of mix it all up. And it's pretty. Let me just angle my camera. Okay. So then it's kind of just got this pretty little look to it. It is so simple. Cheers. Let me try it. Oh, it's really good. It's really good. And if you like other splashes of juice or maybe some different types of fruit, you can do that. Let me put some of the salads on a plate with my mocktails so that you can see what it looks like all together. All right. Got our broccoli bacon. The only thing we're missing here is a nice source of protein, which is always, I find, a little bit easier in the summer because you can grill. And so kebabs, grilled chicken, a nice piece of fish, obviously a hamburger, things like that would go really well. So those are what the two salads will look like. And then you've got your fresh, yummy mocktail to go with it. So yes, summer is fun. There's lots of different things that you can do this time of year when it comes to making things that are delicious, but also you feel really good about eating at the same time. They're really healthy. They actually do good things for your body, which is always what we're kind of looking for. So yeah, what questions? Does anyone have any questions? I know this was a quicker demo today since there wasn't a whole lot of waiting around and cooking. So is there any questions that I could answer?
We are caught up with the questions right now. Does anybody have any additional questions? This was so informative. It really was.
Good. Well, good. Yes. I mean, it is. It's a fun time of year with 4th of July coming up. Check out that Eating Well website. I'm also going to be Kara's going to be sending out a handout called Travel Goodies. And I like this handout because it's creative ways of packing things when you're going on trips. For flight travel, just remember that there are some things that you're able to carry on. It's more about when you get to that destination. There's always healthy options at the airport, but feel out what you can bring, nuts and maybe things like that are easy to pack. And then once you get to your destination, it's making sure that you have those options and kind of scouting out that grocery store, maybe having that food delivered if you're feeling like that's maybe a nice option. So yeah.
We did have one more question. What's the timeline for storing on both of those salads? How long can you store them, do you think?
Oh, well, I would say, I mean, anytime with like mayonnaise stuff, and then also notice if the texture starts to look off, but I would say eat within a week. I would say eat within the week. Yeah.
Looks to me like they will taste so good, you're not going to have leftovers. But
the potato salad was really good. And I really even think you could kind of dabble with freezing. Maybe the broccoli might be a little interesting, although it isn't cooked, so maybe that could be fun. I think you can freeze most things really well, so you could try that too. But yes, if you're bringing to a cookout, I think both of these are, I think, good amounts. You can maybe up the broccoli a little bit. It makes about 4 cups. So if people are doing more like half of a cup servings, it would be about 8 servings. So yeah, but anyway, they're great. I hope that you guys try one of them out, maybe even for your 4th of July cookout. If you're looking to bring a simple side, I think either of these would be great. So.
Okay, good. And I imagine on the Eating Well website, they'll tell you what the serving size is for these salads.
Yes.
But what would you think that it is?
About a half a cup is what I would, but let me look, since we have a little time. Actually, the broccoli, okay, a broccoli is 1 cup. So you get a whole cup, and for 92 calories, folks. Amazing, amazing. That richness of this salad typically would be double that, I would imagine, if you were to buy that store-bought. So a cup is less than 100 calories for the broccoli. And then for the potato salad, it's about 8 servings. They're not giving me, I imagine that it's about a half of a cup, if I had to guess, for 150 calories, which is really good for a potato salad. Normally, again, it's double that. So, yeah. That's one thing I do love about Eating Well, is they give you a nice breakdown. And I don't think I've had anything that I haven't liked. And most of the recipes are very simple. So I think that's kind of a win-win.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much to everyone for joining us today. Yes. And a special thanks for Katie for helping us kick off our summers and healthy. Yeah. These are just a few examples of how you really can transition any recipe to make it a little healthier. So thanks for showing us how to do that. And sure. I hope that all of you will give it a try this summer. And please sign up for our July session on fruits and vegetables. We all need them, regardless of whether you like them or not. And Katie will help us figure out the ones that we can prepare in a way that you will like them.
That's
Registration is already up on our website, and it will also be sent out with today's recording and the recipes from today. So thank you all again, and enjoy a healthy start to summer.
Yes, so good to be with you guys today, and I look forward to seeing everyone in July.
Okay, great. Thank you, Katie.
Bye.